Alex and Alonzo coming up next.
Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis, and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here on a hot day of August here at the Real Estate Rant.
Welcome to another episode of the most exciting show you'll ever hear.
Right on here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. The what do we say?
Our stomping grounds.
There we go. The holy grounds. The holy grounds of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host. Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. In house today, we have Miss Marta de la Chaussee, if I said that correctly.
That's correct.
Is that Miss or Mrs.?
It's Miss.
Marta
Okay, Miss.
de la
right.
Chaussee. Is that like a French name or
It's a French name. It's a French last name through Mexico.
through Mexico?
Through Mexico.
Through
yeah.
the conquistadors were everywhere.
Yeah,
Huh?
well, it was the era of Maximilian that my great grandfather came with him.
Right on.
right
Miss Marta will be sharing with us today the advocacy now for tax lien removal and on real estate transactions. And we have a good show today for you scheduled. And give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. AGR and Associates and the Real Estate Rant are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates Stroke Awareness. You can log on to Mike's website at strokeawareness101.com or email him at michaelpaguilar@hotmail.com. You can also win a $25 gift card if you guess this particular design. And that's the Stevens Steakhouse here in the City of Commerce. Compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. Also a $200 teeth whitening to Gardens Dental at 7218 Garfield Avenue in the City of Bell Gardens. And also Mr. Wallace Gonzalez with Smart Solar gave us a $25 gift card to Lazy Boy.
Lazy dog.
Oh, see, I did it again.
Oh, wow,
I need to write it down. To Lazy Dog, a restaurant. I believe they're in Brea, Fullerton, and
It's probably because we never ate there. We got to go eat there. That way it can we can remember it.
I'll tell you what. Maybe tonight we'll go. If nobody calls in and asks for it, right?
Does that gift card have an expiration date? Because I surely don't want it to go to waste.
It better not have an expiration date. Somebody paid good money for that. And Mr. Wallace, you can reach Wallace Gonzalez at 626-483-5749 to get that gift card. You can call in at 855-693-4897, get this particular design, or you can ask myself, Alonso, or Marta a question. Marta will be answering questions today about tax lien removal and other tax issues. Good show in store for you today. And if you happen to email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com, you can ask Mr. Alonso a question, and Alonso usually does that research. What did we get this week, Mr. Alonso?
This week's question comes out of Jordan, out of Mira Loma, and it says, what is a special assessment tax? And Marta, feel free. I know you do taxes. Feel free to join us and answer any questions that you can help us with. Any information would be greatly appreciated.
Is she simply asking what are special assessments?
Yeah, what is a special assessment tax?
Oh boy.
Can they be included as taxes levied on your homestead property tax credit claim?
Well, oddly enough, the guest of the show today is related to doing taxes, but this has to do with property taxes. I don't know, Martha, you know anything about property taxes?
As far as special assessments, no. My expertise is with IRS and state tax agencies, tax debts, and audits. The only thing I know is how to submit requests for reassessments.
And it just goes to show that the word tax is ambidextrous, right?
Yes.
It has more than one meaning.
Well, let's break it down, Alex.
Right
what is a special assessment tax, first of all? I mean, we know what that is, right? It's for any new constructions, for drains, sewers, roads, any for solid waste. And
Well, I'm going to make a joke out of this because, it's funny because, okay, so what is property taxes exactly? Property taxes is supposed to go for your streets, your sidewalks, your street lights, your parks, that kind of thing, right? So then where does special assessment come from?
Well, I want to say
they're trying to charge you now extra for all of those same things.
Well, I want to say that this is something like a Melrose tax where a new development is being built and they got to pay for new lighting and sewers and streets and
For new?
pavement.
Well, you're talking about for a new construction site, right?
Exactly.
Guess what? When you're talking about Melrose, that's an additional taxes on top of special assessment and your regular property taxes. So now there's actually 3 tiers when it comes to property taxes. Melrose is actually separate than that.
Okay, because I know most special assessment taxes are assessed for drains, sewers, roads, etc., and they may not be included as your property tax levied. You cannot include them. That's what regarding on the research I did. It says you cannot include them as a portion of your tax levied portion of that you get returned or refunded.
Yeah, well, in terms of refund, but check this out. What do most people do when they get their property tax bill? They get them in 2 installments, right? So they I mean, it's kind of like a mental game that they're playing with you. They're cutting your the annual fee that you're paying annually. They're cutting it in half, so it makes it look like less to start with. But the other thing that they're doing is that you have all these special assessments added on there that you already are under the impression that that's what you're paying property taxes for, but it comes on as a special assessment. So what they do is they give you a total at the bottom. Right?
And I've had this happen with past clients where you know they have their taxes impounded and they're paying the bill with their impounds, and then all of a sudden they get a special assessment tax and they freak out. They call me and they tell me,
you're
what's
talking
this?
about like an additional tax.
Yeah, it's an additional tax, and
Yeah.
and they're asking me why I thought my taxes were impounded. I told them they were impounded. That's a special assessment tax now. And what do? Well, there's unfortunately nothing you can do but pay it.
Pay it. Otherwise, I believe the county, after non-payment, after 5 years, they can start foreclosure proceedings.
Welcome to property ownership, huh?
That's right. You wanna play, you gotta pay. That's just how it goes. Give us a call 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. In-house again, Miss Marta de la Chausi. If you happen to have a tax question, you can give us a call again 855-693-4897. Did we have any other questions, Mr. Alonso?
This one also comes out of it's from Anna out of Culver City, and it states, what is the mileage rate and where do I find it?
Assuming that's a tax question.
It's a tax question.
We got a lot of tax questions, huh?
Well, since I think a lot of the listeners thought since we're gonna have a tax person on the show, those were kind of the questions I picked.
You picked them out.
Yes.
Right on. Are we getting a lot of questions on the?
Yeah,
on the email?
there's a lot of questions. This must have been about 15 questions this week.
Wow. Okay, that's nice. We do appreciate your support. If you have a question that you would like us to air, or you can also call in, we'll try to answer those. I don't have an answer to that. The mileage rate, Martha, any idea what that is?
As far as property taxes, I'm not aware of a mileage rate.
Well,
Property taxes,
I know.
a mileage rate is usually for people who use their vehicles for business, and so that varies from year to year. It can change from 35 cents a mile to up to 65. So it varies.
It's a variable.
It's a variable
ultimately,
based
depending on
right.
what you do for a living, that kind of thing. I'm assuming because
Well,
I do get. I think if I remember correctly, on my taxes, I think it's like 26 cents a mile, something like that. But then there are other exclusions, right? I'm assuming.
Every year you have to look at the publication 17 to changes for the mileage rate so that you get the appropriate credit on your tax returns. And your tax preparer should know those.
Nice.
Well, this is the answer that I found, Alex, and it says the mileage rate is a rate at which property taxes are levied on property. A mil is 1/10 of 1,000 of the dollar amount. So your property taxes are computed by multiplying the taxable rate, the taxable value of the property by the number of mills levied. So it's like a percentage. I want to say.
I'm reading the question and it doesn't say mileage.
It says mills.
It says millage. What is the millage rate?
Millage rate.
Yeah, millage
there
rate.
we go.
So I do apologize.
And when you're saying mills, what type of mill? Is a wood mill?
Yeah,
well, it's a mill.
millage rate,
It's
which
1/10
property
of
taxes are
1,000.
Well, it's the way it's read is one over 1,000 is 1,000.
So it's a percentage rate that you're paying based on the value of your home.
1,000th of a dollar. Property tax are computed by multiplying the taxable value of the property by the number of mills levied. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what a mill is. So this is a question. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe from somebody from Kansas can answer that one, because it sounds like something that it has to do with farmland or rural land. I'm thinking. I don't know.
I have no idea, Alex. I am like,
Maybe we should Google mill and see what it says.
You know, it's funny. I just got these glasses, right? And they're progressives. They're like bifocals. And if I don't move my head where I can see the writing, but looking from where I'm looking, it looks like mileage. So I can see where you made that mistake. But it is millage, my friend.
can you get it like a
Yeah,
the
exactly.
sound effect? That's what we needed, the sound effect to come in.
Yeah, exactly. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. Alonso will try and read your emails correctly at any point.
Hey, show me some respect, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you can, again, just another quick shout out to Mr. Michael Aguilar and Associates with Stroke Awareness. He was on the show a couple months back. You can log on to his website at strokeawareness101.com, or you can email Mike at michaelpaguilar@hotmail.com. And he comes out, if you like, and he'll do a short seminar about stroke awareness and give us an idea of what kind of exercise and eating habits we should have to avoid a stroke. And we had him on the show in terms of realtors having certain stress levels, right?
High risk tolerance of stressfulness.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, you know, us realtors, you know, we do have a hard job, even though it's not physical. It could be mental and emotional, and there is a very high possibility for stroke for individuals that have those types of jobs.
Believe it or not, Alex, I got a situation right now that it's stressing me out. You know, I've got a client of mine that's you know, their escrow fell out of escrow. You know, they're waiting for their deposit to be returned, and now the listing agent, you know, it can't get me a cancellation, so I cannot return the money back from, you know, their deposit back from the escrow. And it's been 2 weeks now that, you know, I just been stressing me, and the client been calling me left and right.
And is there a reason you haven't asked me about that, Alonso?
Well, I figured
I have a solution.
I talked directly to the broker, and he said he was gonna talk to the agent, and you know, right now they're at the client's at the point where they want to do legal actions, but I'm kind of trying to defer that, you know. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant. Real Estate Rant and AGR Realtors are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates, advocates for stroke awareness and integrative healthcare.
In February 2012, I suffered a stroke due to high blood pressure. I was rushed to the hospital, where I was admitted for the next 30 days. I was initially told I may have to stay in the hospital for about 3 months, but I made rapid improvements in my recuperation and continued to improve to this day.
When Michael left the hospital, he did not have insurance to cover his rehabilitation, so he focused on integrative healthcare to get better. At the end of 2013, seeing a need for stroke awareness, Michael started his own company, Michael Aguilar and Associates, to focus on creating awareness about the dangers of high blood pressure and stroke.
If you would like more information, please call me at 562-464-7297, or you can visit my website at www.strokeawareness101.com.
Michael Aguilar and Associates, creating awareness and saving lives one person at a time.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, two things matter: heart and passion. Never compromise in integrity for mass production. Number one Tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle. We make it right. We make it fun. Superior Tequila. There's only number one. There's only number one. There's only number one.
Been in an accident? Then you need your vehicle professionally repaired. That's exactly what you get when you bring your vehicle to Greg's Auto Body Repair. 3 quotes within minutes. We will provide everything you need for a hassle-free auto body repair, from an accurate estimate to working with your insurance company. We will get your vehicle to its pre-accident condition as soon as possible. Greg's Auto Body has been serving Los Angeles County and local cities since 1970. Call us at 562-789-1300.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home. At AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.hrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español. Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis, and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. We are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left, dude.
Dude,
Hey.
I think it's time for a break. The taco truck's outside.
Yeah, exactly.
The lunch truck.
Well, the taco truck showed up just a minute late. We are going to throw down some tacos here after the show. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. In-house today, we have Miss Marta de la Chausi with Advocate Tax Group. You can reach Marta at 323-344-2294, or you can email her at atggroup1, and that's the number 1, at yahoo.com. Miss Marta will be talking to us today about tax lien removal and other tax issues. Marta's very knowledgeable in the tax area. Miss Marta, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Basically, I'm a graduate of Woodbury University out of Burbank, and I became a revenue officer with the IRS in 1984.
Now, when you say revenue officer, is that one of the persons that walks up to your door and knocks and says, hey, you guys owe taxes?
That's correct.
So-
What people usually call the evil person that takes your bank accounts, your cars, and your homes. That's what I used to do.
So you're alumni from Woodbury University, huh?
Correct.
I have a good friend of mine that went to that school, and I remember the first year he was dorming there. I had the privilege of driving a shout out to Mr. Cesar Vergara. If you're listening to the show, there's another alumni here from Woodbury University.
Where is it? Where is it at?
It's in Burbank.
It's in Burbank.
Oh, it's a
It's in
Burbank. Oh,
Burbank.
okay, it's
Yeah,
close by. But
Yeah.
Alonso, see if you remember this, because the first thing that ran through my mind when you said that, I remember going through some real estate classes. Wow, it must have been in the late 80s. And the teacher was talking to us about real estate agents or just anybody that had money would have two sections of their home. They would have a section of their home made up for the tax person, and then a section of their home made up for just guests and family members and friends, right? So in other words, when the tax person comes, they're all kind of rickety, they have their old furniture out and that kind of thing. I mean, would you ever encounter that?
No, because the field collection officer goes unannounced. The cases are assigned when they come in from service centers, and people don't make arrangements. They come out to the field, to the local groups. And at that point, the person or business is not aware of when that revenue officer is going to be out there. So there's no preparation.
They look out the window and they change their clothes real quick and they move the furniture around.
Well, we don't have
the
we don't-
tax lady's here,
no identification as that you're the tax person. You regular street clothes, professional or otherwise. If you're going into a mechanic shop, you're going to go a little bit less dressed down in order to not mess up your clothes, your professional clothes.
So
depending on where it
So
took you. That's
So
how
what were you
would
guys
ask.
doing? You were going out there and actually visiting businesses and auditing their business, or
Well, the tax collection officer, we do the collection
So
of the
would-
tax debts or unfiled tax returns. The auditors from examination division are the ones who go out there and do the audits.
So when you go out
there's a
there and you're
difference.
collecting, what are you doing? Are you just putting like chains on the register, or grabbing the register, taking it, and throwing it in the van or something?
I could see you coming in with the SWAT team or something.
Well, we used to do that more frequently back before 1998.
With the
before,
SWAT team?
Not a SWAT team, but a lot of collection officers from the group. You would make
Oh.
arrangements to go out and close a business down
Close a
that-
business?
Yeah, close the businesses that owed payroll taxes because they're taking the money from the employees and not depositing the money over for the U.S. Treasury. So
Oh.
in those situations, it's really fraud that they're committing because they're taking other people's money and not, the government when you file your tax returns, they give you credit for your withholdings or for your estimated tax payments, but when your employer doesn't forward the money, the government still gives you credit for those withholdings,
Yes, yes.
but the money is not there if the employer takes that money.
So, what is it you're doing now, Martha?
Well, now, in 2009, after having worked 25 years with the Internal Revenue Service, I decided to go on my own and opened up Advocate Tax Group. And now I provide tax consulting and
So-
negotiations for businesses and individuals.
So now you're on our side. Now you're helping the consumer, not trying to take our money. You're trying to help us prevent of how to arrange payments, or is that or
There's many avenues, processes, and procedures that it's all case issue driven. There's maybe you need an audit reconsideration, an offering compromise status to liability, offering compromise status to collectability, adjustments.
and
There's
these are all like motions that you're filing or something that you gotta present to the tax boards that you've got no money to pay, or that you just forgot, or what is it?
Yeah, it varies. It varies with the taxpayer and it varies with the case.
I actually was on the website and I found something very interesting. It's something that I read something. I'm into thoroughbred, into horse racing. So I seen that some of your specialties are horse racing and the trucking industry. Can you elaborate a little bit of that, or tell us what goes on behind that?
Well, I can tell you that within the Internal Revenue Service, I was part of a specialized group. You're funny. It was a specialized unit that handled the high-profile, large-dollar tax debts in Los Angeles. And the reason I say I'm an expert in it is because as a child, I used to go to the horse races, right, with my dad, and I know how to bet and all that. But mainly, I've had clients who are owners of horse races, and
Yes.
I've been able to help them with their tax issues, whether it's an audit or debts, and some of the
little bit of a
Sure.
gambling itch there, Martha.
And there,
if I were any closer to Santa Anita, I would.
so what are the
Inside scoop.
so what are the, how can I say, what kind of tax deductibles can you deduct when you own thoroughbreds? I mean,
Oh boy, everything from the feed to the vet fees to the boarding,
so everything becomes a tax write-off.
the trainers.
So if you put Seabiscuit now on the AGR tax roll,
No, because I own a couple of horses, and I've got one that's ready to go to the track.
Seabiscuit.
So I'm kind of like, curious to know, is it worth it? Does it outweigh the risk? Because we spend a lot of money trying to get it to run, trying to get it trained enough for it to start running in the racetrack.
Yeah, how old is your horse?
It's a 2-year-old, quarter horse.
Quarter horse. So isn't that Los Alamitos?
Yeah, Los
racetrack?
Alamitos. It would be in Los
Racetrack,
Alamitos.
yes.
But I got friends of mine that have currently around now thoroughbreds running at Santa Anita.
At Santa Anita.
Yes.
Well, I believe right now they're in Del Mar.
They're in Del Mar, and I think
Yes.
they're going to be to Fairplex once the Del Mar finishes,
Correct.
and then back in Santa Anita, because I'm waiting for that return of California Chrome to come back and run. So I'm sitting on my edge.
Well,
on my seat.
do you own the horse outright, or is it a
No, it's a
interest?
partnership. It's a partnership,
Yeah, it's a very expensive business.
Oh yes, it is.
I mean, when you're talking about the trainer, feeding the horse, the vet fees, the transportation, the boarding at the tracks, it becomes very expensive. And then you're sharing with the jockey, right? Whatever
Yeah,
contract you do with
10% for the jockey and 10% for the trainer.
So as you can see, I know a little bit more than the average person about the horse industry.
Hey, Alonso, but you're never going to get your horse to run very fast feeding them burritos.
No, the lunch truck food, you
Well,
know?
that too. I mean, Alonso, I can just picture Alonso over there with one of those big asada burritos.
No,
It's whole oats.
No, if he's at the Pomona Fairplex, those fried Twinkies and
fried
all the
Twinkies.
fried stuff, fried
Twinkies.
Twinkies.
Yeah, but the horses like that stuff, don't they?
Actually, they don't. They'll
don't
take
like
like an apple or carrots,
candy.
Oh, right on.
A little
Okay.
candy, a little
candy or
mint.
sugar. Actually, when I first trained my horse, it was that's how I got it to be gentle. I fed him sugar. I would go into the stall and I'll give him sugar, so it would like me or get to know me.
But that causes the horse to be gentle.
Well, it
Or just with
to like to kind of break the barrier of like trusting you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so I see you.
This is becoming
No,
something
no,
of a
no,
horse
now
show,
it's
man.
a whole different show now. But let's get back to our show where we did have.
Yeah, Martha, let me ask, how long have you been in the industry?
25 years with the Internal Revenue Service and 5 years as a sole owner, helping
So,
people. Yes.
so you're no dummy when it comes to tax liens and that kind of thing.
No, as I said, I was in the specialized unit, and only 15 people who were field collection officers in Los Angeles got to be in that group before they upped the level of the revenue officers. And I believe it was in 2008.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So now, in the name of your company, it says advocate. So what is it that you can now bring to the table in terms of advocating for the consumer?
Well, I advocate for both sides in reality, although I'm supposed to be advocating for my clients now, right? But if I see that they owe the money, I have to look at the options that are best solutions for my client, not so much for the government now, right? So what are the solutions? There are so many solutions that it all depends. Are you in audit? At what level when I'm contracted? Are you in collections? What level are you at collections? Is your case still at service center? Are you still in notice status? Or are you in final notice status before garnishments and liens are filed and all that? So it varies. It can be a whole gamut from, like I said before, adjustments to preventing seizures, releasing garnishments, submitting offering compromises. But it all depends on the whole situation. You have to look at the cause of delinquency or the problem, the current and past compliance as far as filing and current payment requirements, and then look at the solution for that case.
So let me ask you.
That's a lot.
Let me ask you a question, Martha.
Yes.
So wouldn't it just be better, like say if you owe taxes and then just to file a new corporation if you're you owe so many money, like based on the trucking industry, truck drivers, sometimes they get so much in debt, that they don't pay all their the taxers, their they have so many taxes also. And I know you're an expert also in the trucking industry. So if I have a company and I'm behind on my taxes that I didn't pay, that wouldn't it just be better for me to form a new corporation and not pay those taxes, or do I still need to pay those taxes?
You still have to make arrangements for payment. In the scenario that you're indicating, there's legal and administrative avenues that the tax agencies can take, even though you collapse or close down a business.
Excuse me for a second
Sure.
there, Martha. We are coming up on a break.
Sure, we'll pick it up after the break, I guess.
And stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
It's one thing to own a business, it's another to promote it. That's why thousands of business owners rely on Monster Marketing Group. Design, print, mail, custom mailers, all for as little as 29 cents delivered. That includes postage. Send to a neighborhood, zip code, or an entire city. With just a simple call, 888-49-MONSTER, you can easily promote your business, sales, events, grand openings, send coupons, and much more.
Your mail delivers in as little as 5 days. No dealing with the mailing list or paperwork. Monster Marketing does all the heavy lifting. Get started now by calling 888-49-MONSTER or go to monsterng.com.
Monster Marketing Group. We deliver, we give you results, we can prove it.
The Share Foundation is the health division of the Coy Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services. In particular, through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
It's hot out here. I need a drink.
Have a mucho macho michelada. What's a michelada? Michelada is a Mexican Bloody Mary made with beer. All you have to do is get bucket-sized michelada, open it up, pour it in your favorite beer, and you're good. What if you don't like beer? You can use it in lemon lime soda, vodka with lime, or tequila with lemon lime soda.
Sounds delicious.
Where do you find it? You can find it at your favorite store, or you can go to muchomachomichelada.com. Find us on Twitter and Facebook.
What's up, guys? Sports Guru and Bud Knocker from Sportscast Wednesdays, 12 to 2 Pacific on Rant Radio Network.
We got everything you need to know about sports. We got all the latest video highlights. We got You Got Knocked the Fuck Out. We got Bonehead of the Week. We're talking sports, drinking beer, and having a good time.
If you missed the show, go to rantradionetwork.com and listen on demand. So check us out every Wednesday, 12 to 2 on Rant Radio Network.
Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
And your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
no problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
We are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis. And to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez. In house today, we have Marta de la Chausi from Advocate Tax Group.
Hello, it's me, Mario. Woohoo!
Well, that's a bit Italian, even though we are French in the room. But nevertheless, Alonso did have a question, and I believe it had to do with trying to get away from paying some taxes.
Well, it was. I believe the question was transferring a new corporation, shutting down an old corporation and transferring to a new corporation. And my question was, are you still liable for the taxes that you owe?
The answer to that, and unfortunately many people are under the misunderstanding, when it comes to payroll taxes, if one company owes payroll taxes, let's say it's a corporation, and they decide to close that corporation down to open up a new one, thinking that they're not liable for the closed corporate payroll taxes, that's not true, because the IRS and the EDD for employment taxes, EDD, for example, will say, well, there's no change really of ownership because you're one and the same. So they'll do a successor entity. The new entity owes for the old entity's taxes. So they're not going to forgive him for that.
Yeah, so there's no corporate veil.
There's no corporate veil at that point. No, for payroll taxes, no. The IRS, they can also do the alter ego, administrative alter ego, to determine that it's just one and the same. And there's also the personal liability portion for every single person, officer, or other person who was involved with the financial decisions of the company's assets or the monies going out to pay other creditors instead of the payroll taxes. They can do bills against them personally for the tax withholding and half of the Social Security. So their personal assets can be collected on as well.
Is that only for payroll taxes? What about taxes? Say your company earns a certain amount of money. Now that company, it made a revenue of let's say a 200,000, and now your company is liable to pay those taxes on those 200,000. What about something like in a scenario like that, which is not payroll tax?
Again, we're going into successor entity, alter ego. They can still try to collect that way.
It's funny how they call it ultra ego, huh?
Yeah, one in the same.
It's kind of what Faye was talking about last
Well,
week.
yeah, because a lot of people have that misconception. Well, I'm opening up a new corporation, and whatever I owed for the 200,000 I made with the old company, it's a bankrupt company. I got a new company now.
Well, one thing is bankruptcy, but it still doesn't absolve you from payroll tax debts. It's just a bankrupting the entity. It's different procedures within there, depending on the type of bankruptcy you file. But nonetheless, they're still liable.
What do you mean by payroll tax?
Payroll tax, for example, you're an employee of a company, and your employer takes your taxes, right, from your check.
Yeah, it's a withholding.
And they withhold. And then they also withhold Social Security and Medicare. But in addition, a corporation, partnership, they also have to pay in part of the Social Security, right? So when you're talking about trust fund taxes, payroll taxes, it's a withholding and the Social Security.
Does that
That's
answer the question?
withholding.
I'm kind of. It's kind of.
Well, look at your paycheck, for example, if you're a wage earner.
No. I understand
Right.
that. I understand that concept.
so-
but my concept of what I'm trying to figure
the
out.
the employer withholds that money,
No,
but
no.
instead of paying it into the government, they just hold on to it.
No, yes,
hold
but like
on to
I'm
it.
saying, like if it's my own company,
Uh-huh.
I'm the owner of the corporation, and I made that money. I'm paying myself.
Yeah.
I'm paying myself. So
Well, then you have to pay taxes on it. That's 1099, but we are not talking about AGR and Associates.
no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I
Absolutely
just want
not.
to make that clear right now.
And see, that's another misconception too. If you're an 1120S corporation and you're one of the owners or officers of that corporation, you should be declaring yourself as an employee. You're not supposed to just be taking draws. For real estate, it's a little different. You're a K1, income. It goes through it's a flow-through entity, right? But in most cases, you should be declaring yourself as an employee.
So you need to pay yourself through that corporation, and
under a
pay
payroll.
your payroll tax and all
And all
your
that,
good government.
You're right. Taxes
Well,
still there.
We kind of got a little bit off subject. I actually wanted to just kind of remember why Martha and I had talked about coming on the show, and why we wanted you on as a guest, and ultimately was to remove tax liens. And we talked about a little bit about that because there have been escrows that were open now where a seller or maybe even a buyer would have a situation where they're having trouble either getting financing or they're having trouble releasing the interest in the property because of a tax lien. And that's how originally we got in that conversation, right? So not to change the subject.
No. Let's get back with the show.
Okay, right on. So just one quick question. Can tax preparers, do they have the ability to change the tax return?
Unfortunately, the tax preparers, some of them out there, I can't generalize. Some of them have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar, let's say. When a person goes and gets their tax return prepared, they need to make sure that they get a copy right there and then, because the tax preparer can easily change the figures in order to make it so that the taxpayer gets refunds. And when you go out to the second page of a Form 1040 individual tax return, it gives you the option of getting your refund directly deposited into an account. And a lot of what these preparers are doing is they're electronically filing these returns with changes that the taxpayer did not authorize, like adding business losses, and that cause a huge refund maybe. And
then that money would get
goes
transferred into their
account, and the taxpayer will not find out about it until they get an audit letter saying, wait a minute, for the year 2012 you claimed $10,000 of a business loss, and therefore we want evidence of that. Or you claimed child tax credits. Where did these dependents come from? We don't, we want you to verify them. So all that gives the taxpayer supposedly a large refund that they never get.
And that refund is going to the taxpayer, or is it going to the
preparer?
To the preparer.
It's going to the preparer's
Oh wow!
bank account.
So it'd be going. They would have two places where the money's going back to. I'm thinking.
Well, no, because the electronically filed return that was fraudulently prepared goes electronically filed to the IRS and the state, and then the refunds get deposited into the tax preparer's bank account.
Oh, and the tax preparer then disperses funds to the
Sometimes, other times they don't,
Oh,
because
so
the original copy that they
Wow.
gave the taxpayer
They didn't,
shows different.
it shows that they broke even.
Or
they
have
to pay.
Right, or that they owe, but yet.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Mr. Tax Preparer, you owe like $200, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna pay it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna pay it, and then
we're such a good service. We'll take care of it for you. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, does your service now? Do you help folks that are in that predicament?
I can help them. There are certain forms and rules and regulations that you have to follow in order to report those type of tax preparers, those type of tax returns, and like I said, there's ways to report them and to get your taxes nullified.
Say if I'm a client and I feel I'm a victim of this fraud, I would take you my tax returns and you would basically audit it or redo it again and see where the miscalculations were done. Or
well, at the point in time that you find out that you're being audited, I would need the original copy of the tax return along with the audit report, and then you would have to tell me the circumstances under which this happened to you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
words,
it depends.
Some words often pop up, and these are buzzwords as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not in the tax preparer industry or know anything about it. But offering compromise, you hear that often. What is that exactly?
An offering compromise is a contract between the IRS U.S. Treasury and the taxpayer or entities that are trying to submit an offering compromise. But offering compromises, you have to qualify in order to be eligible for one. And the way you qualify normally is through financial statements.
What was an offering compromise again?
It's a contract between you, the entity, with the U.S. Treasury, the IRS.
And what's that contract?
Saying, I owe so much money, but because of my financial or situation, I cannot pay all my tax debt.
Kind of like a forgiveness or a deferment?
Yes, it's a forgiveness. But the caveat is you have to remain in compliance for 5 years. Otherwise, everything comes back.
So you have to pay your taxes
for the next 5 years. And you have to be in compliance for the current year.
That's the compromise.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have had several clients' offers accepted, but I pre-qualify them. If we hear a lot on the radio and other TV ads, we can help you. You only have to pay a small portion.
Well, I think that's where I heard all that was offering compromise. You always hear it on the radio.
Well,
on the
yeah.
TV.
So that leads to our next question, which reads, "What are tax resolution companies doing on the radio?"
Well, they're making promises. I can't say that all of them are. Some of them are legitimate. So buyer beware, like in the real estate industry, right?
You had a name for them, I think.
Well, you would. They're called in the tax industry the mills. They're mills but what I like to say, they're telemarketers.
Hey, wait,
the mills.
The
other mill.
That's a mill.
That's a different mill, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a lot of these companies some of them are legitimate. So the person who's trying to contract one of these companies, they need to read the contract and the bottom line and ask the questions. Who is going to be representing me? Who's the person? I want to know their credentials. I want to know their background. Don't just go with the first one. Interview them.
Not just get an Oscar de la Hoya and advertise them with a pretty face.
If I can
buy my insurance.
If I can interrupt just real quickly, Mr. Pantalones, are we up on time? Is that what you're illustrating to me, my friend? Okay, well, we got 2 seconds left.
Is that the end of our show?
No.
Oh, we're coming up on a break. Don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more Real Estate Rant.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
ProTech Carpet Tile and Care provides professional cleaning services for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, and fine area rugs.
ProTech technicians are professionally trained and certified cleaning and restoration experts.
We specialize in restoring damage caused by heavy soil and odor.
We can remove challenging spots such as coffee, tea, ink, gum, wine, and many more.
We have saved our customers thousands of dollars on new flooring and furniture expenses with our advanced cleaning processes.
Call for a free estimate at 562-447-4300 and visit us on our website, www.myprotechsite.com.
Hey, this is Joe Perez, owner at ProTech. Just reminding you that ProTech Carpet and Tile Care is your professional choice.
What's wrong?
I can't stop craving a cigarette. I just quit. Hey, what are you smoking on?
Oh, this? Best e-juice on the planet. Burst of flavor, of course.
What's that?
Only the best alternative to smoking with a great flavor. It has a burst of flavor in every puff.
Well, does it have nicotine?
It comes in different levels, including 0. They have 20 flavors and more coming. All the products are made in the U.S. Check them out at www.burstoflavor.com or call them at 855-WE-BURST.
Hey, let's burst together.
It's not just flavor, it's an experience. Cigarettes, you've met your match.
Looking for some swag? Make sure to check out monsterclothing.com. They got everything from V-necks, t-shirts, hoodies, baby dolls. And remember, custom orders are always welcome and much more. They're just not on the site yet. www.monsterclothingco.com or call them at 888-49-MONSTER. 888-49-MONSTER. Hablamos español. Doo-doo-doo.
Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
And your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
no problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my broker, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
And very talented horse lover, may I add.
Oh, yes, yes. I just wanted to mention, today I was driving over to the studio, and it was 100 degrees outside.
I haven't seen one female since we got here. This place is a sausage fest.
You're killing me.
Killing me.
Show some respect. Anyway, in the studio today we have
Show me
Miss
some respect, boy.
Martha De La Chelsea from Advocate Tax Group, and we've been talking about some tax issues and very interesting issues about tax preparers potentially creating some fraud on your tax return and then collecting money because of it. So, taking the liability on for a small fee sometimes could be a trick for some people. Now, my engineer is waving to me. We have a call on line 1. Thank you for calling Real Estate
Hello?
Rant. How can we help you?
Yes, I am calling to check on is it possible that I can be pre-qualified with some taxes that it's made, but it has not sent to the IRS?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Martha.
Yeah, the first thing you need to do is get into compliance with filing all your tax returns before you can even qualify to submit an offering compromise. So if you haven't filed tax returns, that's the first thing you want to do is file them immediately. And then at that point, if you already know what your balance is, we can pre-qualify you, but we need to have you give us a call, and then we can ask you all the right questions and let you know.
My question is, there is some tax preparers that will tell you, yes, I can manipulate the numbers so you can be pre-qualified with a loan officer.
I wouldn't do that because that could be considered
Fraud?
Correct me. Yeah, mortgage fraud and tax fraud.
Well, back in the days, that's what was going on
Pretty
before.
common, huh?
Well, back in the days, it was. Now I believe it's very risky or very.
Was that back when Jesus played with dinosaurs?
Well, back in
They
the
didn't collect the tax back then,
subprime
didn't they?
market. But
Yeah.
now it's very risky for you to do that because you got to prove the income, and every lender is gonna verify it, cross-verify it. They're gonna file the what is it called, the 4506, and make sure you you paid that tax return and made that income.
So that the IRS and the loan officer, it's combined. It's checking that everything is legit.
Now, caller, I'm trying to understand. Are you talking about a real estate transaction, or are you talking about your own personal taxes?
Well, I think she's saying.
I'm talking about real estate transactions.
Yeah. Okay. Now I understand.
Someone preparing or manipulating your taxes to show you make more money to qualify for property. Is that something that the question is regarding a listener?
Yes.
See,
Yes.
so yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely very risky nowadays because, like I said, they do a verification of all the income, where it came, and it's very thorough now. Back in the days, it wasn't as thorough as before, as it is now. You know, everything's 4506, and it's very risky. I mean, I wouldn't take the risk of losing my license over something like that. And if there's any tax preparers out there, I wouldn't consider them doing it.
Unless of course, the person that you're borrowing money from, they're having you sign a contract that Guido will come out and break your legs if you don't pay.
But well, see, they're subject. The
They're
person.
gonna break my leg?
No,
No, that was a joke. That was a joke.
No.
What I was saying pretty much was that if you're dealing with a private lender, a lot of times you can get away with those kind of things because the private lender doesn't care. In other words, they're not going to double check. But nowadays, most lending institutions do fall under certain guidelines, if you will, and the borrowers have to sign what's called the 4506T, where they're going to verify any information that you submit. So if a tax preparer doesn't for you,
That was my question.
Yeah, the liability really falls on the loan agent for submitting and for the tax preparer for creating it.
Not only that, but
Okay, I have a question for the tax lady. The difference between a corporation and an LLC, what is the difference there? Do I have to have both or only one?
you only have one. If you file for an LLC, it could be a corporation or a partnership. And the only benefit to that is if you have assets that you want to protect from liability from creditors, personal liability, that's the way to do it. But keep in mind that certain liabilities or expenses that an LLC creates you can still be held personally liable for. Like I mentioned before, payroll taxes is one of them. And there's certain other ones that if you give your personal guarantee for, you can still be held liable. So an LLC protects you to a certain extent from personal liability versus and a corporation does too, but the LLC gives you more protection.
May I add something that LLCs are not approved by BRE. According to the BRE, when you have an LLC and you want to get a corporate license, they will not honor an LLC. You would have to do a full corporation.
For real estate?
For real estate. And that's just something I learned from experience because when I first had my company, I filed an LLC and I went with that corporation to the DRE. They told me, oh, no, you got to get a regular corporation. And I asked them, and why is that?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And they told me that LLCs have more loopholes. They're written by attorneys and there's more loopholes in them. So they do not honor them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to protect your assets, if you have sufficient monies that you want to do that, and it's economically feasible for you, go ahead and do that. But
What is the difference between the C and the S corporation?
The S corporation is for smaller gross receipts, usually below $5 million, and the 1120s are for higher grossing corporations.
Okay, and you are experienced on doing taxes for the corporations?
Yes, go ahead.
Are you a CPA?
I am not a certified. No, I'm what is called an enrolled agent, licensed by the Internal Revenue Service to negotiate and represent people and companies before the tax agencies.
Caller, do you happen to be watching the show on the internet, or are you just listening, caller?
I am watching the show and listening.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to suggest, because you do have a lot of questions, I was going to suggest taking down Martha's number and calling, maybe talking to her personally. It sounds like you are probably putting a company together, what it sounds like. But you can reach her at 323-344-2294. And
One more question.
Yeah,
What
go
is
ahead.
her experience?
My experience is I'm an ex-Internal Revenue Service collection officer for over 25 years. I'm an enrolled,
Wonderful.
yeah, and I'm also an enrolled agent licensed by the IRS to represent companies or any entity and individual before them regarding audits and tax debts.
Wonderful. So you have a lot of experience on doing this. I will be giving you a call
Well, thank you
later
very
on.
much. Thank you very much. Anytime.
But was there anything else, caller?
That will be it.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
caller.
Thanks for calling. All right. We are at the last segment of the show, so I did want to cover what we were talking about a little bit earlier, and that's tax liens. What is a tax lien?
A tax lien is a garnishment, basically, right to property that the tax agencies have whenever there's a tax debt due. It can be recorded or not recorded, but it does create a right to that property, to the equity, if any. If there's no equity, it still encumbers or clouds title or the value of that property. In some cases, for example, people, let's say for this year, 2014, they know that they're going to owe money when they file their tax return next year on April 15th or October 15th. And they figure, okay, I know I'm going to owe a lot of money. Let me transfer my property to a trust, which a lot of people are doing for estate purposes, right? But some people are doing it to avoid paying tax debts.
So does that mean you don't have to pay taxes when you transfer it into a trust?
Well, this is what I'm saying. If you know this year that you're going to owe money and you do it knowing that that's going to happen, the tax agencies, IRS and the state, they will look back 10 years whenever there's a large tax debt, and they will say, when did this transfer take place? And if it took place during the year that the year transpired, the general lien, what it's called, attaches to that property, even though it's not recorded. So you transferred it basically to avoid tax avoidance, right?
To avoid being attached.
Attached.
So
But they can
a trust can't even be a veil for taxes.
It depends on when the transaction took place and what purpose that.
So the
that's
government
served.
wants our money. They're not messing around.
Well, yeah. So it's a timing thing. It's a timing. If you're going to do a trust to prevent, an estate or for estate purposes, to transfer your assets to your beneficiaries, it's a good vehicle. But you have to be careful with when you transfer. Make sure you don't owe any tax debts
So
during that year.
Your inheritance inherits your tax debt, in essence.
I mean, you pay taxes even after you're dead. I mean, you have to pay. I believe there's
they say this. There's two sure things in life: dying and paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that kind of brings me to what we talked about earlier, and that is 1 minute. Wow, we got 60 seconds. Real quick, how does that affect short sales? Because on a short sale, it's a forgiveness, and so if you have a tax lien on a property, what happens at that point?
There's a way to get those liens off that property, because the bank has usually the first priority on getting paid, and so if they're agreeing to a short sale, the lien remains on the property unless that lien is taken care of through a procedure. There is a procedure for that. Through a procedure that has to be processed through either IRS or the state tax agencies.
But it's not being released or forgiven from the person.
No.
It's just being released from the property.
From the property,
Okay,
yes.
I see.
So the general lien, a tax lien, attaches not only to real property, but it's a general lien. It attaches to all your property or property interests. Going back to the question, what's a tax lien?
Yeah, so that's when you put everything in your girlfriend's name. You don't
Yeah,
have to worry
but
about it.
again, it's a timing thing. When did you do it? When did you do it?
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So how much more time, Mr. Pantalones, are we looking at here? All right. Well, we are coming up on the end of the show. Martha, thank you for joining us, and I would like to.
We need to have it
on the
back.
show,
Oh yeah,
because
we
was a lot
probably
of
went through
questions.
half of our outline.
I did want to mention to my wife, her birthday's coming up. I just want a quick shout out to Jacqueline Alvalar for her 30th birthday.
I'm gonna
this coming Friday, yeah. And thank you for Martha for
You ever want to have your own
bringing
radio
us
show?
a $25 gift card to Marie Callender's, and we will offer that gift card on subsequent shows to any callers or potential people that happen to get the design
Or just
deal.
a lunch deal for a lunch date for me and you.
That's good. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So join us again next week. Same time, same place.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio. Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems. The views and opinions expressed by the host or any guest on this show are encouraged to be followed up by a professional tax advisor or attorney, as we are not qualified or authorized to give advice in two areas: legal